What is up, guys? Josh here, back again with another video about the Canon 1DX Mark II along with the 24-105 L series lens. Today I just got back from going to California to Disneyland. It was awesome, but today's more of an in-depth field view of what it looks like for me to use this lens. Now, I didn't take another videographer with me to actually film me do these things, or to do all those other things that other videographers have people do for them, so that way they can show their operations. I didn't have anything like that, just because it's a lot of run and gun kind of stuff, very last minute here, last minute there. And so today I wanted to kind of go through some tips that I found that were super helpful, and that maybe I can help out somebody else that uses the same similar setup, or even just a traditional camera, just because it's hard to do everything that I'm doing and we're doing at the same time. So first off, one of the biggest things that happened during this trip was, well, first off, I went with my family of 4, including myself. And so with this family of 4, it's a lot harder for us to really get a good grasp of how to do things properly, because since we don't go on a whole lot of trips together a whole lot, it was really hard for us to really find a sweet groove in which to find. Obviously you find it really quick, but it was still kind of challenging. But I have a 7-month-old daughter and a 2-year-old son, so you automatically can know that my 2-year-old son is just all over the place. My 7-month-old daughter, she was in a little sling on my wife's chest, and that was cool. That was super cool. But with that, it was super weird, just because first off, this camera is stupid heavy compared to my 80D, which is right over here. It is just a ginormous monster when going to actually edit and all this stuff, or not edit, excuse me, but to actually take it and videotape and all that. And not to mention that I got this stupid huge lens on it as well. It's an L series lens, like I said. The f-stop is at 4, and it's the Mark II version, image stabilized, all the good stuff. But it was frustrating for me because this is probably the go-to lens, because if I want to get super wide, or not super wide, but just wide enough, so 24 millimeters, I got it. Or if I want to get super far away, maybe not super, but far away enough to where I can get good depth of field, good background, all that good stuff, I'd crank it to 105, and it was awesome. And so this camera, I think it hits its ISO at like 51,000 or something ridiculous. And so I heard a lot of YouTubers say, like, oh yeah, you won't even tell much noise when you take it that high on the ISO. And so when I did that, in actually almost pitch black conditions, I did find a lot of noise in all of that, and I was not a big fan of it in low light situations, even with the lens. I know you probably have to have the right lens with it, but a lot of people are like, you don't even need, just get a really nice lens, but it doesn't really matter about the f-stop, because you can still crank the ISO up. And so I did that. I wasn't a big fan of it. So this next time, if I ever go somewhere else and with low light conditions, I will get an L series lens with the lower f-stop, like 1.2 or 1.4, just so that way I'm not having to run into that problem where I'm like, shoot, now I need another lens. And that kind of brings me to a new topic, and that was, so I have 3 lenses total. So I have the one right here. So this one's a 10 to 18 millimeter, and then this one is obviously, like I said, the 24 to 105, and then finally I have the 50 millimeter one, which is the base one. It was one of my first ones that I got on the Canon 80D, and it was just the best lens ever. But with this camera, I mean, you can totally tell that the glass is very inexpensive, because when I was over here taking pictures or doing whatever, you can tell that the sharpness was not very sharp, tack sharp, as if it were on this one. So I mean, it's very obvious to me when I look at all the pixels and the noise and all of that good stuff. You can tell that the lens was not very good. So I have that 50 millimeter one. I'm looking to get, like I said before, the 70 to 200 millimeter L series lens. That one is awesome. Excuse me, probably not the Mark II version one, but hopefully the image stabilized one. But yeah, that one is awesome, and so I'm really looking forward to eventually getting those ones. But getting into the lens part, the biggest thing that I found going into Disneyland when we went there was me having to change out my lenses really quickly. So what I brought with me, I brought my camera bag, which is a drone bag, holds my Canon, holds both my Canons, and then all my other good stuff. But I brought that in there. I brought this external battery charger, so it has like an AC charger as well as 2 USB chargers. And so I was like, this is awesome. I'm freaking out. This is cool. I'm never gonna have to worry about having to charge my phone in the park, which I didn't, which was super cool. So I brought all this stuff, and not only that, I brought a little tiny camera bag. And so when I brought all these things, I wasn't able to help out with the kids because I had so much on my back and another basically little side purse for my big camera if I needed to put it down or anything like that. And so to me, it was totally worth doing that just because I found myself at a very weird situation where I was like, you know what, I'm not really sure how I should put my camera or where I should put my camera, but I'm gonna put it right in my bag so I know it's not gonna get damaged or the lens is not gonna get damaged. But one of the biggest things was if I wasn't ready for a lens at the right time, like it was still in my bag and not in like my ready to go bag, then I would fumble the play and I wouldn't get the shot that I wanted, or I wouldn't get the low light or anything that I wanted, the contrast or the depth. And even though my video that I posted was only like 3 minutes long, I have probably hours of footage, but probably I have almost 1,000 gigs because this thing takes up so much freaking gigs. I have, like I said, 256 gigabyte CFast card, and man, I was maxing that out too. I brought in the laptop into the park just so that way if I had to transfer out files, I was good. But I found out that I was perfectly fine. I had well over 100 gigs after every day, and this was like shooting, and I was very, very conservative. Shoot here, shoot there, and I would only really use the ADD right here to really do. I would only really use it for time lapses, really, and so I had a time lapse thing. I think I have it right here. This guy is a beast. It has different durations. Every 15 degrees it changes, or you can have a duration of 5 minutes up to an hour. So I thought this was super cool, and I was just so pumped to use it. But some good tips that I would use was I didn't really need my little side bag that I thought I needed. The big bag, I would strongly recommend it because if you get tired, if you want to go eat, put your camera down, put it in your back. And guess what? I saw a lot of people trying to snatch things out of people's bags, right? That's stupid crazy, but it happens, right? You know that. But at the same time, what was crazy about it was that if you had something in your back or on your bag that was in like the front pocket, that's easily going to get stolen. But if you have a bag that opens from behind, like on your back kind of thing, then you don't have anything to worry about. I didn't have anything to worry about because I didn't really have anything other than that laptop, which is kind of a lower grade laptop, so I really didn't mind too much. But it was just a peace of mind knowing that I didn't have to do that. Another big thing going in is think about your shots that you want. Think about the shot that you're going to use. Every bit of clip that you use should be used, or you're thinking that, yes, I can use this, I can use this, I can use this, because every bit of video stuff that you are going to videotape, think in your mind, how can I use this? When would I use this? And before any of this, I would seriously consider picking a song, picking a really upbeat, high-level song, so that way you really, and your audience members can really get behind it and be like, man, that was such a great video. But I mean, it could be a sucky video, but if the song was good, the lasting impressions is, wow, that was so good, even though it may not have been that great, right? But at the end of the day, they loved it, you loved it, and it was all good. And so every shot should be always framed up. And I love doing slow motion shots. I love doing far away shots, coming close. I love doing like the zoom in, zoom out kind of things. Those are awesome to me, and I really enjoy those ones a lot. And so really think about those. Really think about where you want to go with those ones. A big thing too was after every night that I would go and download all of my memory into my hard drive. I have a 4 terabyte hard drive, and I would just name the folder Disneyland, and I would just dump the files. And so when I came back to edit those things, it was frustrating because I'm like, oh dang, which one was day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4? And so I basically got myself super lost because I dropped the ball on that one again, and I didn't organize it the way I should have. And at the end of the day, it just took me longer to do the things that I need to do when I probably should have been focusing on something else other than that. So that's just probably a good tip for you in the future is label each day, label each event. For example, if you go to the store and you have hours of footage, then put like whatever store that is under day one, and then over that, then whatever vacation you're on. Because when you go to edit, you're like, oh, that's right, I remember we went here, where's all that footage? And you can find it really easily. Not to mention when you go back and make like a compiling video, well then guess what? Now you have all of those dates in which you can finally get and retrieve from. So make sure that those things are locked down and they're instilled in your mind. So that way it's not hard for you to get things done, especially if you start doing these like professionally. That way you get it done quick and over with, so that way you can pass it on to your customer and be like, you know what, it's done, it's over, I'm out. And so it's really awesome to really do all that good stuff. Some big things that I saw using this camera was for the slow-mo, you actually have to manually set it to the slow-mo. So what I mean by that is the 1080 at 120 frames. Now obviously once you put it into like Final Cut or Premiere or whatever, it's gonna, when you're using a 4K file, it's obviously going to go down, right? Because the dimensions are 1920 by 1080 as opposed to like the 4120 by 2160 or so, whatever it is. You know, so I had to expand it, which then I lost some pixels and it was starting to get a little blurry, especially when I went around and into 4K and mount that. So that's only the only big thing. Next time what I would have done, I would have just shot it in 4K at 60 frames. And then slow that down, so that way I didn't lose any pixelations at all. And I know 120 frames is awesome, but only if you're really using 1080p at the same time is when it's really awesome. So I mean, that's kind of something that I would have changed. But I shot everything in 4K at 60 frames just in case. Like I said, I'm big into slow-mo. I love slow. It really brings out the moment and what you're doing things. And so if you're not doing those things for that purpose, well then don't worry about it. If you're doing like really fast kind of stuff, then I wouldn't worry about it, because I only had, I think it was 20 minutes at 4K at 60 frames. But I would have had 30 minutes if I would have shot 4K at 30 frames. So I mean that's kind of the benefit in that too. And then obviously if it was in 1080 at 60 frames, then it would have gone down. But 1080 at 120 frames, I think it's like 8 minutes or something like that. Something relatively low, but I mean that's still pretty high for a high frame rate. So you kind of take it and give. But that was super awesome. Another big thing with this camera is probably a good positive thing was that it was so heavy that it almost stabilized itself, almost like on a glide cam. I wanted to take a big tripod. I even brought my gimbals and all that just in case I was going to use it. I never end up using them, but I really wanted to. But at the same time, I was using my camera strap, and I would go really smoothly into all those when I would meet the characters, or we'd go on a ride or whatever it may be, and it was just awesome. Another thing too is I got the iPhone 10 right here, and that was super cool, but it's not true 4K. What I mean by that, whenever I exported my files here from my Canon 1DX Mark II, the 4K would come in 4K file, right? Like I said, the 4120 by whatever. But when I would upload this into my Final Cut, then from there it would marginalize just a bit. So I'm like, what the heck? It wasn't true 4K. It wouldn't go all the way out to the same one that the Canon went out to. So I'm like, that's kind of a bummer. The clarity was really good. It wasn't as good as this one. Just the sharpness, I didn't think it was super clear. There were very mild things that I used the phone for. The phone was kind of a backup if I needed 60 or 4K at 60. But I used it for like the water stuff. I didn't use a whole lot of it in there. I really didn't use a lot of it in the actual park or even in the video, just because I have this guy and I'd rather use this guy and utilize what I bought rather than something else that I bought that's probably a little bit less than this. But still, this came in handy just in case. My Canon 80D came in handy just in case. And so it was super awesome just to really use all three of these cameras to make a bigger and better video. And kind of another thing to talk about too. I know I'm kind of all over the place. This isn't a very comprehensive review. This is just a review that's just raw and just really helped me, or could have helped me. And that is to really think about your song. I said that before, but really think about the song that you're going to use, because every situation that you're going to encounter throughout wherever you're going, think about that song. Think about the transitions. Thinking about the feelings that you want people to feel. Think about the way in which the video is presented, so that way the viewer that's seeing it for the first time can really say, wow, that's just, it takes me back. I want to be there. I want to go there. I want to be you. I want to be your family. So that way, you know, you can really make a name for yourself. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. This whole thing is fairly new to me. It's fairly new to me, but guess what? I'm going all out. I'm doing videos of my family. I'm doing videos of how I feel, or the feelings that I feel from making these long videos. And so that way people can see, like, look, man, I'm a real person, but also this is who I am. This is who my family is. And I've already gotten a couple weddings out of it. And so I'm doing another wedding this coming year, as well as some business stuff that I'm going to be doing here. And so just excited to keep going, excited to really make a name and make a real strong push to making better videos. And obviously I'm not perfect. Obviously this isn't like a full-on comprehensive review like most YouTubers you'd see on YouTube, but guess what? You know what? YouTube is a new platform for me. I'm not a really big YouTuber in the sense of being a YouTuber. I'm a YouTuber to really show my own skills and my own stuff that's kind of different from everyone else. And that's kind of the whole point of being a YouTuber, right? To be different. But at the same time, you know, I want to become someone unique and be something unique, rather than just fall in line with everyone else, whether it be vlogging or unboxings. I know I've done unboxings, but I mean, I want to be someone different than all that. So, and this is where it starts, and this is how I can really understand what true videoing is all about. And so I'm really excited to keep going. I'm really excited to keep pushing out these videos. I know my views are like way low, and my subs are way low, and if anyone would see this and like, yeah, right, dude, this dude has no real content. But guess what? I do. I got experience. I got a lot of understanding and a lot of good circumstances that I've been through. And so I just love to keep making those. Comment if you have any questions, or comment if you want to see more videos. Comment if you want to see more footage that I took from Disneyland that I wasn't able to upload because it didn't fit along with my song. I'm more than happy to make those too. I'm also going to be making a Star Wars room edition here very soon of all the stuff that I have in my room. So be prepared for that. It's going to be awesome. I got a lot of cool stuff, and I'm just excited to hear what you guys say to that. So with that, we will catch you later. Deuces.